Hey, mathletes, are you ready to stretch your brain? Today's question of the week comes from the workbook Problem Solving Experiences in Mathematics. Here we go. 4 men were shipwrecked on an island. Having no food, they went to work gathering coconuts. After gathering coconuts, they were tired and all fell asleep. After a while, one of the men awoke and was very hungry, so he ate 1/3 of the coconuts, more than his proper share. He then went back to sleep. The second man awoke and, being very hungry, ate 1/3 of the remaining coconuts and went back to sleep. The third man did the same. When the fourth man awoke, he took only his rightful share of the remaining coconuts. Then there were 6 coconuts left. How many coconuts did the men gather? Whew, lots of information in this problem. Okay, you can pause the video, give it a go, and when you're ready, just resume. Welcome back. How did you do? Yeah, you might have got stuck on this one. It's a little tricky, but hopefully you gave it a good go. And remember, even if you didn't get the right answer, it's okay, because when you struggle, it just means that your brain is growing. So here we go. I decided to unpack it first because there is so much information in here. So first of all, how many coconuts were there at the start? That's something we don't know. A matter of fact, that's what we're trying to figure out. But how many coconuts were left at the end? It does tell us that. It says that there were 6 coconuts left. What fraction of the coconuts did the first man eat? And that was toward the beginning, and it said he ate 1/3 of the coconuts. Did the second man eat 1/3 of the original number of coconuts? And it said here, no, he ate 1/3 of the remaining coconuts. So he ate what was left after the first man ate. And what was each man's rightful share? Well, since there were 4 of them, each of them should have had 1/4 of the coconuts. So if the fourth man took 1/4 of the coconuts, what fraction did he leave? Well, we know that a whole is 4/4. So if we subtract 1/4 from 4/4, we get 3/4. So he left 3/4 of the coconuts. We know that the remaining coconuts represent what part of the coconuts left by the third man. That would be our 3/4 that he left. So the 6 represents the 3/4. So if 3/4 of the coconuts equals the 6, then what does 1/4 of the coconuts equal? And that's a little tricky. I like to do this one using a tape diagram. I find that visuals help me to see what's going on. So let's use a tape diagram. And since we're talking about fourths, we'll divide it into 4 equal sections, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We know that 3/4 equals 6. So I'm going to color in 3 of the 4, and I know that the sum of those 3 squares is 6. Notice that they're all the same size. So in order for them to equal 6, that means that this first one, the middle one, and the next one have to add up to 6. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. So each one of the boxes is 2. That means that the last one that's not colored in is also 2. Remember, they're all the same size. So now we know that 1/4 equals 2. How many coconuts were there before the fourth man took his share? Well, before he took his share, we had the 6 plus the 2, so we have a total of 8. So now let's work backwards. And this is the first option. There's 2 different ways that I did this one, and I thought I'd share them both with you. The first one is visual. The second one is more abstract. So we know that there's 6 coconuts left. We know that the fourth man took 1/4, and we calculated this on the previous page. So if 1/4 is 2, we know 3/4 is 6. So he ate 2 of the coconuts. Now remember, since we're working backwards, we're going to do the opposite or the inverse operation. So throughout this, we're subtracting it from the beginning. There's less and less coconuts left. But when we do the inverse, we do the opposite. So we're going to be adding. So we have our 6 plus the 2 is 8. So we have a total of 8 coconuts that there were before the fourth man ate the 2. Now we have the third man. The third man took 1/3, which meant there's 2/3 left. And 2/3 is 8. We figured this here. So this is the 8. That's what was left. So that means each box must equal 4 because 4 plus 4 is 8 and 4. So that means the third man took 4, and then we can add the 4 to the 8 to see how many coconuts we have so far. So far now we're up to 12 coconuts. And now we're to the second man. The second man also took 1/3. So here's my 3, and that means 2/3 is 12. So if 2/3 is 12, each one of the boxes needs to be 6. So that means he ate 6 of them. And now we're at 18 because we had 12. He ate 6, so we're 18. And now we're at the first man, and he took 1/3 as well. So that means that what's left is the 2/3. And the 2/3, remember, is 18. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. So he ate 9 coconuts. So 9 plus the 18 is 27. So the men gathered a total of 27 coconuts. Now here's another way to do it. And this way, again, is a little more abstract. Again, we'll start with our 6 coconuts. And remember, we're working backwards. So we know that the fourth man took 1/4, leaving 3/4. But this time, instead of using tape diagrams, we're going to do the opposite, and we're going to divide instead of multiply. But remember, with fractions, dividing is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So we're going to take our 6, and we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of 3/4, which is 4/3. And 6 multiplied by 4 is 24, divided by 3 is 8. The third man took 1/3, again, leaving 2/3. So we'll take our 8, we'll multiply it by the reciprocal, 3/2, and we get 12. The second man took 1/3, leaving 2/3. So 12 multiplied by the reciprocal, 3/2, is 18. And then lastly, the first man, he took 1/3, leaving 2/3. So 18 multiplied by 3/2 gives us a total of 27. So you can see you end up with the same answer, just different ways. One's more abstract than the other. Did you enjoy that? If so, I have an extension for you. Let's look at this one. Now let's suppose that the first man ate his rightful share, and the next 3 men ate 1/3 of the remaining coconuts. If there were 8 coconuts left, how many did they gather? Ooh, interesting. Not as much information, but we have information from the previous one, so we know a little bit of how that worked. So again, give it a go, and you can pause the video here. When you're done, just resume. Welcome back. Did you use the same strategy of working backwards, or did you try something new? I decided to work backwards again, and I decided to use the option with the abstract. So we know that there are 8 coconuts left. And we know that the fourth man took 1/3, which means 2/3 is left. We're going to do the opposite and divide by multiplying by the reciprocal. So we have our 8 multiplied by the reciprocal of 2/3, which is 3/2, which is 12. The third man took 1/3, leaving 2/3. So 12 multiplied by 3/2 is 18. The second man took 1/3, leaving 2/3. And the product of 18 and 3/2 is 27. And then we have the first man who took only 1/4. We multiply it by the reciprocal of 3/4, because remember, 3/4 is what was left. So 27 multiplied by 4/3 is 36. So the men gathered 36 coconuts. I hope you liked this one. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure you do. That way you'll never miss a new question of the week, because there's new problems every week. And if you'd like to, you could leave a comment. I enjoy reading those. You can tell me the strategy that you used, or maybe if you thought this was harder or easier than some of the other ones. And if you know someone who'd love this challenge, please send it their way. As always, thanks for watching.